Hi, I'm Tom Walters. I'm the current president of Limerick Fire Company, and I have over 36 years of firefighting experience with Limerick Fire Company.
My name's Donald Andes. I'm the treasurer of Limerick Fire Company. I've been active in the fire company for 44 years.
When I joined in 1976, we had 4 fire trucks. We had 2 pumpers, a tanker, and a utility truck. And our current fleet has a 100-foot ladder, quint, a heavy rescue, a large diameter hose pumper, another utility truck, and 2 chief's duty vehicles.
We had 25 active members at that time. Today we're fortunate we have about 40, 45 active guys.
Well, according to my grandfather, who was a charter member, fire company was founded in 1921. It was chartered by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in 1927, and it was formed by residents of Limerick Township that were businessmen, farmers, and just regular residents that saw a need for fire protection.
In the 1920s, it was all rural, all farmland. Probably a population of a couple thousand. Today, the population is about 18,000. We have a huge mall. We have multiple residential areas, apartments, townhomes, you name it, we got everything. One of the things I remember is in 1950 when they were going to replace the first fire truck, they ordered an international chassis. It came in international green and they didn't have money to paint it red, so they left the green, and that was the history of the green fire trucks at Limerick.
The turnout gear when I started in 1976 consisted of hip boots, canvas coats, red fireball gloves, and a plastic helmet.
We cover Limerick Township, and we do mutual aid with surrounding townships.
Well, in 1976 was the first year Limerick Fire Company broke 50 fire calls in 1 year. So I remember that because that was the year I joined. And the calls have gone from a number of 50 up to where we're pushing over 450 calls a year at the present time. The types of calls back then ranged from barn fires, field fires, and every now and then a vehicle accident or vehicle rescue, to where we're averaging about 14 vehicle rescues a year, where we actually have to extricate somebody using the jaws of life, as well as the types of fire calls have changed. We see a lot of automatic fire alarms because the newer buildings are all alarmed, whether they're just with an alarm system or a sprinkler system, as well as we see more hazardous materials type incidents, and the different types of structures have changed from your typical homes and barns to townhouses, industrial type buildings, and other architecture that you'll see, such as more churches and a YMCA type building that has real different roof lines.
The costs have changed dramatically. Even when we bought our 1989 engine, it was like under 200,000. Last one we bought was over 400. So the costs are just astronomical today.
Probably the largest fire that I ever participated on was the S&D warehouse fire on Mischief Night 1991 in Royersford, where a warehouse went up that was probably about 500 feet long by about 250 to 300 feet wide, with multiple stories as high as 5 stories.
Most memorable call was my first big call when I was chief back in 1982. We had a barn fire, Betts's barn, and we called in mutual aid companies that we hadn't had any dealings with because of the prior administration. So that all went very well, and a couple of the guys actually had their helmets melted. Everybody pulled together, and it was a great effort.
We've gone from canvas hose as our primary firefighting tool to a double jacketed canvas hose to large diameter hose, which is, in our case, we use 5-inch large diameter hose, or LDH, with Stort's couplings. We've seen a standard be applied to the connections so that everything's national standard. The hydraulic tools have changed. They're faster, they're stronger from your rescue, your jaws of life type tools, as well as the apparatus has changed immensely. Part of that is due to fire department demand, National Fire Protection Association and EPA requirements, and just overall safety. We essentially went from a 2-door cab fire truck, commercial cab, where we rode on the tailboard, to the 4-door custom cab to provide more safety for the firefighters being indoors in a fire truck, as well as the use of seat belts and airbags in the apparatus.
One of the other stories, I guess, is when we had the 7 fatalities on 422. I was chief then, when we actually had the road closed for over 24 hours when they were doing investigations. That was prior to any cables or guardrails in the middle. It was a crossover accident, and it was pretty dramatic.
The future of Limerick Fire Company is as far-reaching as the members want to take it. From a training aspect, to apparatus, to the firefighter themselves. Essentially working with the township, working with the firefighters themselves and surrounding communities. There's a lot of opportunity for us to still grow, because the firefighting business is ever changing, and if we don't change with it, we're going to become a dinosaur. The guys in the fire company have heard me say that tradition's a double-edged sword. It's great to know where you came from, but if you don't use it to change, you're going to be stagnant. You're going to lose membership, and your fire company is pretty much going to die on the vine.